What's good, y'all? It's your boy Shane. This is Shane coming at you live from the No BS show on WBGR. I'm back again, y'all, and I can tell you right now it's going to be a great debate today. And the first thing is we're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. Open. Number to call is going to be 301 429 9247. That's going to be that number to call, and I'm just going to jump right into it. So, the U.S. Open. I can tell y'all right now that was a great match. It was an excellent match. And Sloane Stephens, she went to work again. She killed it. And what people got to understand is this is the same girl. This young lady had gotten hurt. You know, she came back and and that girl had done some amazing things that I was so happy to see her win. And it's the first time we've seen an African American women player win that was not named one of the Williams sisters. It's the first time. I mean, it was bittersweet, and it was even interesting to me that she didn't even realize how much what she just won. Like, that's the crazy part. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, come on, Sloan, like, come on, girl, you knew you was gonna get paid. You knew that. Don't think, girl. But congratulations to Sloane Stephens. She went to work, and I'm proud of her and the way she played the game. And I mean, can't nobody say that this girl has not come to play. I mean, she's done exactly what she was supposed to do. She did exactly what she came to do. For those who are who are interested in the stats, so she won the first set. 6-3, and then the second set she won 6-0. And she beat Madison Keys at Arthur Ashe Stadium on September 9th. So I tell you, the people, you ended up in a situation where this girl, she went to work. She did amazing. She done a lot of great things in that. And the truth is we're not going to see this for a long time. We're going to see more Sloane Stephens. I mean, she's young. She's only 24 years old. So we've got a lot of years to go before she finally gives it up herself. I think that right now, we need to start savoring this moment, because you're about to see arguably one of the best women, in sports, go to work for a very long time. So, and I mean, the way she was serving the ball. How hard she was hitting that ball. And I've seen it a couple of times where she's hit it over 100. The girl can flat out play tennis. She goes from sideline to sideline. She gets up to the net, and she does amazing things. And I think what people gotta understand is this: we just saw a young lady, who saw tragedy in her life. Her father passed away a long time ago, and back in '09. And, the passing of her dad, who was, is a football player. He played in the NFL. He played back for the Patriots back in the the late 80s. And to see what this young lady has overcome, and to see what this young lady has come to, and how she got serious with the game of tennis. She's now able to say, look, I won. And not only I have won, but I have killed this game, and I took it. So, and I thought that this was amazing that this young lady had went and worked. Guys, please call in at 301-429-9247 if you guys want to go ahead and talk about this topic with me. And we could talk about this more extensively. I mean, you look at who she beat along the way. She's beat a lot of different young ladies, but the biggest one, obviously, was when she beat Serena. And, when she beat Serena, that's when I knew right then and there the sky was the limit. I knew right then and there that she was definitely going to march in here. And this girl was no slouch. She didn't slouch the whole time. This girl went to work. And I think, honestly, that she, not only came in and knew that she was going to, do what she did, but she also let everybody know that I didn't just wake up one day and just said I'm just gonna come play tennis and not do nothing. No, this girl came in and tore it down. And like I always say, we're not gonna see this for a while. I think the last, time that we saw a great as a player like this, honestly was the Williams sisters. And so that's why I can't wait to see what the future holds for Sloane Stephens. I think that she she took it all the way home, and congratulations to her. Right now I'm gonna go to a quick commercial break. When I come back, we're gonna talk about the NCAA football, so be ready for that. Don't go anywhere on the No BS show.
Having a little fun at the casino? Nice stack of chips.
Yeah, it's my earnings for the last 6 months. I'm putting it all down on the roulette wheel.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Nah, crazy is putting my money in a bank where interest rates are so low, I'll be 100 before I see a decent return.
Well,
crazy is putting all my money in risky stocks and bonds.
Your odds would be better if you call Forecast Financial Group.
If you have capital, you'd probably like your money to work for you. What if you could earn at least 6% annually and have your principal returned in full at the end of a short 12-month cycle? The interest is paid monthly. Your yield isn't affected by fluctuations in markets, and you never pay fees or commissions. Call Forecast Financial Group at 1-800-678-2045 to learn about adding these safer short-term options to your portfolio. Call now, 1-800-678-2045. That's 1-800-678-2045. Forecast Financial Group, 1-800-678-2045.
And we're back, folks. NCAA football. We gotta talk about it, because there's some things that I kind of gotta get off my chest here. Okay, so let's talk about this. So it amazes me how college football Saturday was really, really interesting. Okay, there was a lot of teams that I'm not gonna lie, I was very shocked at the way they played. So I was able to attend the Maryland and Towson game. That was cute. Towson gave, Maryland a little run for their money. They scored about a little 17 points. That was cute. Of course, Maryland went to work. It is what it is. My concern with that game was the Coach DJ Durkin. I think he's a good coach, but my issue with Coach Durkin is that defense, it was looking a little suspect. It was looking very, very suspect. I can tell you right now, because I think that his linebackers are pretty good, and he had a couple of D linemen go down in that game, so that wasn't good. One of his best linebackers is Jermaine Carter Jr. I thought he's a really good linebacker, 6 feet tall, 230 pounds. The kid can go from sideline to sideline, and he can punish guys when they come over the middle. But my issue again with this defense is, you can't sit here and tell me that the Terps are going to be ready for Big Ten play when you're giving up a little over 210 yards passing to the Towson Tigers. They shouldn't have even got 210 yards passing. They honestly should have only had 100 yards passing with the way that score looked. But it is what it is. And then on top of that, you actually let that quarterback run on you. So now, to give Towson a little credit, I'm not going to say they're not some slouches. I mean, the score didn't reflect that. But it's just that, in the first half, it just really was mind-boggling to me that this team was actually moving the football. And the problem with Towson is that they kept turning over the football. They threw about two interceptions in the game. They fumbled the football, and every time they turned over the ball, the Maryland Terrapins were able to capitalize, especially with Darrell Savage. He ended up getting a pick six in that game against Towson. And that's what, kind of sealed the deal for Towson, because then after that, I saw how deflated they were. So the truth is you can't sit there and allow these kinds of things happen. And what people got to understand is this. The Maryland Terrapins, I think they'll do pretty well. My issue with them is I don't like what they're going to be looking for in Big Ten play. In Big Ten play, they're going to be playing some really, really tough schools. First off, you're going to have to play Ohio State in Ohio State. Okay, that's not going to be easy. You're going to have to go to Columbus. And this time, you got Michigan coming to you. Now, that'll be cute, but here's the problem with that. See, the way they played offense, I'm not feeling it. However, I do like that freshman Kasim Hill. Kasim Hill played extremely well. He threw over 163 yards, 2 touchdown passes. So I like the way the kid played. I think he played really good football. He's got great legs, and he's a big kid. This kid is about 6'2", 230 pounds. This is a big kid, and he ran the 40-yard dash in four and a half seconds. So this kid is, I think, could be arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Do I think he's going to need some development? Absolutely. He's a freshman. He's a true freshman on top of that. So he's going to have some time to develop. This young man came from D.C., and I can tell you right now, after watching this kid play, and just seeing the way he orchestrated that offense, the way he commanded that offense, I have full confidence in this kid and the way I believe he's going to play in the Big Ten. The only problem that I have is he's going to have to play some very stiff competition because Penn State ain't no slouches. They've had a good defense for years. There's a reason why they call Penn State linebacker U. And then Ohio State, I mean, they only graduate like a DB to the NFL every year, y'all. I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous. I mean, but I mean, who am I? Just look at Urban Meyer. I mean, he's only the head coach of Ohio State. I'm just saying. So that's the other thing. And then you've got Mr. Jim Harbaugh himself. Now, there is some speculation. This is a rumor that he might be going back to the NFL next year. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I think he's actually very comfortable where he is up in Ann Arbor. I really don't see him leaving Michigan. Why would you want to leave a situation like that? That's just me. But, he's got a good football team as well. They're ranked number 7 in NCAA. They're 2-0. This weekend they'll have to play Air Force. I'm pretty sure they're going to trounce them. So, and for any Maryland fans, I got to get you guys to understand that right now they are on a bye this week, so they won't be playing this weekend. But next weekend, they are going to see Central Florida. Now, if anybody remembers that Central Florida game last year, that one concerned me because they went into overtime with that team. Now, I believe they went into double overtime, if I recall correctly. So you also got to understand that, it's going to be a very interesting situation. Call in at 301-429-9247. That's the number to call. Shout out to Mahogany Black. Thank you so much. I want to it's a shout out to you. Shout out to Ebony Matthews, Miss Karen Renee Owens. Shout out to Mikel Ramos. I just saw you join in. Thank you guys so much. And John Davidson, I thank you for your comment, brother. I appreciate you. But to getting back to the point, so I think that this is going to be interesting. Now, if anybody saw that Ohio State-Oklahoma game, I'm not going to lie, y'all. See, I'm a diehard Sooner fan. I love me some Sooners. But I did not expect to beat Ohio State. But I saw some things in that game that kind of concerned me. So Oklahoma went to work for the first time I've ever seen in the history of work. Because we all know Oklahoma does not have DBs. We haven't had DBs, honestly, since the Jason White days. Now, if anybody knows the Jason White days, that was back in the early 2000s. That was way back when Pete Carroll was still at USC. So that's how long we haven't had defensive backs. And then everybody thought, oh, we had Zach Sanchez. Yeah, no. Didn't like Zach, because Zach used to get beat like he stole something. That's the reason why he's the number 5 cornerback for the Carolina Panthers right now. He's a bum. I don't know why anybody thought that dude was going to be nice, but he's a bum. So, but, he in the league. There's nothing anybody can do about that. I don't know how he got into the league. Maybe he might have paid somebody to get into the league, because I'm sorry. I don't know why you would have drafted that dude. That's just me. But you beat them 31-16. So if you're Oklahoma and Ohio State, you're just like, all right, so Oklahoma went to work. They did what they're supposed to do. Now we're sitting at 2-0. Okay, that's cute. But at the same time, you also got to remember, this is not going to be, no cakewalk season. You still got Big 12 play. You probably, and this next game, I think it's going to be interesting. You're just going to be playing Tulane. Now, Tulane ain't nobody. They haven't been nobody for years and probably ain't going to be nobody for a long time. I feel bad for Tulane fans. I'm sorry to tell y'all this. Y'all probably going to catch a real beat down, because at this point, y'all just need to get paid. So that's just what that comes down to. But I think one of your more interesting games that I think everybody really needs to pay attention to, and I think this is going to be interesting, is you've got Clemson and Louisville. Coach Swinney, I feel bad for you, brother. I really do. Because you about to find out about Lamar Jackson one more time again. Because Lamar Jackson is already won the Heisman last year. He looking like he might win the Heisman again this year. And unfortunately, you're about to play a Louisville team who really loves playing y'all. Because for some odd reason, y'all just can't stop them. Now, I don't know why. I'm really trying to figure out why. You don't know. But, you know, who am I? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I really think that you need to figure out how you're going to stop Lamar Jackson. Because the problem is when Lamar starts going, he seems to get a lot of yards. And just last week, he had 300 yards passing and 100 yards rushing again. I don't know why everybody don't understand how Louisville operates. It's actually a very simple system. They got two big wide receivers. One of them 6'2", the other one 6'3". So they got some big receivers over there, right? So for Lamar, all he has to do is just throw it up where only they can get it, which is going to be very easy because they're already big anyway. And then the other problem is you can't stop the run. So now what you going to do, coach? Because Shaq Mason gone. You don't got no D lineman. Mackenzie Alexander, he gone too. So now you ain't got no linebackers. And we ain't gonna talk about your DBs. Your DBs is a little suspect too. Although I do like your safety. I think he's a pretty solid kid. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But Deshaun is gone. Now, I like your kid. I like the kid that you got there now. I think that he's a pretty good kid. I think he's solid. I think he's a very solid kid. You know, Bryant, he's thrown 417 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then, but here's what really kills people is the fact that on the ground, he's got, 3 touchdowns, 136 yards rushing. But the problem is your quarterback should not be your leading rusher. Okay, there's a problem with that. Your quarterback should not be your leading rusher in your system. Okay, Lamar Jackson, on the other hand, 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, 771 yards in 2 games. So he's averaging a little over 350 yards passing per game and 100 yards rushing in 2 games. Okay, so I'm sorry, 120 yards rushing. So now you got a problem. And then receiver for Louisville I think his name is Josh Smith. 17 catches, 300 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he's averaging just over 8 catches a game with over 100 receiving per game so far in the first 2. That's a problem. So your DBs are gonna have a long time trying to cover this kid. So Coach Swinney, I hope you can try to stop him, but have fun with that. Now, there's one other game that I think everybody should really pay attention to. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be the U versus FSU, the Florida State University Seminoles. Mainly because with Florida State, Francois, I think he's a really good quarterback. But the problem is he played a very tough team his first game. So, it's not like he didn't play a bum squad. That school, Alabama, I mean, it's Alabama. Like, Jalen Hurts only is who he is. And it seems like, that train for Alabama is rolling. Call in at 301-429-9247. That's the number to call. Shout out to my man Roger for joining in on the conversation. Thank you, brother. 301-429-9247 is the number to call if you guys want to go ahead and debate college football with me right now before I move on. But so I think that's kind of some of the games that I think everybody needs to pay attention to. And I think the biggest game of the night is going to be USC versus Texas. That one's going to be a big game because of the fact that USC and Texas, they both have high-powered offenses. And this is the first time these two teams met since the national championship. It's a long time ago. And if everybody remembers what happened in that national championship, that is the staple. That is like the main commercial for NCAA football every single season. That has been the main commercial. It's like almost ridiculous, the kinds of things that we see that all the time. When that Vince Young team marched in and was able to beat a vaunted USC team who at that time was just ridiculous. They had Matt Leinart, they had Reggie Bush, they had all these receivers there. They even had Joe McKnight when Joe McKnight was a freshman before. Unfortunately, he lost his life recently in the past year. Sorry for USC's loss in Mr. McKnight. But you had a nasty football team back then, and they actually had a pretty decent defense. And here's the issue. The issue is you got a situation like this. USC, you're probably going to beat them, but don't take Texas lightly. Texas has a really good offense, but everybody knows their defense is god-awful. Everybody knows their defense is trash. So I don't know why people think that Texas is going to do anything. I don't trust them, never have trusted them. You saw what happened when they played Maryland. When they played Maryland, I don't know why people were surprised in that game as well, because the truth is, Maryland's had a decent defense. The problem is they just play in the Big Ten. But at the same time, you had the audacity to think that you was going to beat Maryland when you knew they was going to put up more points than you. Shout out to Miss Zabata Gordon. Thank you for shouting me out, cuzzo. It was glad to see you watching the show. But again, that number to call in is 301-429-9247. If you guys have any questions for me about NCAA college football, please go ahead and give it a call in right now. Phone lines are open. But definitely watch that game. I think that's going to be a really good game. I don't think that Texas will win. I think it's very clear cut that USC is going to win that one, because they're not going to allow that stuff to happen again. Because I'm sorry, it's a totally different team, totally different coach, totally different athletic director, totally different system. So, I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. And, I'm pretty confident that USC is going to have their way. But looks like I'm going to have to move along right now in the interest of time. So when I come back, I got to talk about the Red Sox, because there's some cheating scandals going up in Boston, y'all. Don't go anywhere on the No BS show.
Hey, Tim, having a little fun at the casino? Nice stack of chips.
Yeah, it's my earnings for the last 6 months. I'm putting it all down on the roulette wheel.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Nah, crazy is putting my money in a bank where interest rates are so low, I'll be 100 before I see a decent return.
Well,
crazy is putting all my money in risky stocks and bonds.
Your odds would be better if you call Forecast Financial Group.
If you have capital, you'd probably like your money to work for you. What if you could earn at least 6% annually and have your principal returned in full at the end of a short 12-month cycle? The interest is paid monthly. Your yield isn't affected by fluctuations in markets, and you never pay fees or commissions. Call Forecast Financial Group at 1-800-678-2045 to learn about adding these safer short-term options to your portfolio. Call now, 1-800-678-2045. That's 1-800-678-2045. Forecast Financial Group, 1-800-678-2045.
And I'm back. Number to call is 301-429-9247, y'all. This really breaks my heart because I love my Red Sox. But here's the situation. For anybody who's a baseball fan, I know some of y'all are some huge baseball fans out there, so I'm just going to talk about it. And it's actually kind of sad because it really kind of mind boggles me that we're even talking about this, but I have to talk about it because unfortunately, this is what's going to be funny. So the Red Sox were accused of a high-tech cheating scandal by saying that the Red Sox were using electronic equipment to steal the Yankees' signal calls. Now, I think people got to read into this a little bit not too much because the problem is this: it's the Yankees. The Yankees and the Red Sox can't stand each other. It kind of reminds me of when the Patriots was playing the Jets, and the Jets accused the Patriots of stealing their signal calls too. Okay, it seems like New York sports teams, yes, New Yorkers, I'm calling all of y'all out because it seemed like to me, you guys have it up for Boston. I don't know what it is. Maybe y'all just like Boston. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and tell me that the Red Sox, the reason why they're winning is only because they're cheating. No, they're not. I really don't believe. I really don't believe it. But unfortunately, they got caught in this situation, and the Red Sox had admitted to the wrongdoing, unfortunately, and so now the complaint. I got a caller. Caller, you live.
Hey, Jay, this is Jabbar.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Don't really have too much time, but I do want to call and ask you, what do you think was the most biggest, I guess, surprise or upset from last weekend's games, NFL games?
Oh, okay. Well, the biggest surprise. I'll get back to the Red Sox in a second, y'all, but I'm going to answer Mr. Emmanuel's question. So, the biggest surprise last week to me was the Patriots losing to the Chiefs. I cannot believe, because the truth is this was a team that was slated to kind of run the table. You lost 42-27. Point blank.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it is. You lost 42-27. And on top of that, you lost to a team that you were pretty much supposed to beat, but unfortunately that didn't happen. The defense did not play well. The offense looked very pedestrian. Although Brady still looked good, but he was 16-36, so he only completed less than 33% of his passes. That's not really great. I'm sorry. Less than 40%. Is it little over 40% of his passes? That's not good. That's not Tom Brady. But the running game was terrible. Mike Gillespie. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns, but you have 15 carries, 45 yards, which means you're only averaging 3 yards a carry. That means that you're not moving. You're barely moving across the field. When I see that my running back only has 45 yards rushing, that means that you didn't even move the length of the football field. But my quarterback threw for 267, no touchdowns, no picks. And it was a very, very huge surprise. And the other biggest surprise to me, and I know you're going to hate me for this, Mr. Emmanuel, but it was your Titans against the Raiders.
Okay.
The reason why I think that one was a surprise to me, because I thought that game could be kind of tit for tat, but it wasn't the fact that the Titans didn't have a chance to win that game. It was the fact that your offensive line played terribly, and they did not give Mariota enough time to throw the football. Khalil Mack, honestly, when I looked at the way that game went, he really didn't do much. I wasn't even worried about him. But when I'm seeing your best left tackle, Taylor Lewan, give up a sack and almost get Mariota killed like he did last year, I'm really not feeling y'all in this next game against Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville, I hate to say it, they have a very talented defense. They got a talented D-line. Derek Marks is very good. And they got some pass rushes over there. They got some really good guys. And then if Telvin Smith, he better not turn loose, because if Telvin Smith turned loose, they already dog smacked the Texans, and the Texans were slated to run the division. They dog smacked the Texans, and this is what I have to say. Doug Marrone, before he left Buffalo, he was actually getting that team together. But then the reason why he left Buffalo was because they were changing ownership. Now he's in Jacksonville. And he's doing the same things that I saw him do in Buffalo. And if he does the things that I think he's going to do, the Jacksonville Jaguars might be a sleeper team that I didn't even pay attention to. Because I thought for sure that the Texans might have it. But after the way that the Jaguars played and the way the Texans played, because it's very obvious that at this point their offense is very shaky right now. Titans, y'all got to do something this weekend. If y'all can beat Jacksonville, then I'll be like, okay, I think we can all settle down. But if y'all lose to Jacksonville, yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a long season if that happens.
Yes.
I agree with you on both of those. I think I was leaning toward of course, you mentioned them a little bit, the Jags and the Texans. I was expecting the Texans to win that game regardless of who was their quarterback, you know? And then another one that shocked me, I didn't know the Rams could score that many points, period. You know?
Yes.
The Colts way out. And I was really surprised about that one. Even though I don't expect much from the Colts. They always seem to give us a headache, but other than that, they don't really do too much.
Yes. And the Colts, and I say this, the Colts, I don't think they're going to do anything this year because Andrew Luck, even if he is healthy, I just don't see them doing anything. So I think right now, after seeing these first couple of games, I'm going to see how it goes after the first four. But if the Titans, y'all finish 3-1 in y'all first four games, and if the Jaguars finish 3-1 in their first four games, then I'm going to see that I think it's going to honestly come down to y'all and the Jaguars because the Texans, they got a rookie quarterback, and it seems like they're still trying to work out the kinks of their offense right now, and they just got devastated by Hurricane Harvey. So that team right now, their morale is going to be a little bit low. So for that, Jacksonville, well, I mean, they've been losing for years, so anything at this point would be better for them. So yeah, they've been kind of losing for years. So, I mean, you know, the Titans, y'all not really used to losing, but y'all not really used. Yeah, the problem with the Titans is y'all just haven't had a good winning season since, honestly, 2008. That was the last time y'all had a good winning season. That was over 9 years ago. But it's not like now last season y'all finished 9-7. That was a good winning season. It could have been better if Mariota was playing. But I think this season is a different year. And if Mariota stays healthy, I think you guys could do some serious damage in the AFC South.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right, bro. Well, yeah, that was it.
All right. Thanks for calling in, brother.
All right. Well.
All right. And after that conversation, y'all, so yeah, Red Sox, I don't know. I love y'all, but really? But, you know, it is what it is. The Yankees are just, I mean, it's the New York Stankies. You know, that's exactly what Bostonians call the Red Sox. We call, I mean, Red Sox fans, we call the New York Yankees. We call them the New York Stankies. But, I mean, you can't hate on the 27 rings they got. That's cute, you know, that's great and all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, you're going to accuse the Red Sox of cheating, but then the problem is now we got a counter complaint by the Red Sox for the same thing. So the truth is this. It is what it is. These two teams don't like each other. They're probably going to hate each other, and they've hated each other for years. This is nothing new. So I think this will get swept under the rug. They might get hit with a fine, maybe 1 or 2. Who knows? Who cares? I just think that, you know, they'll conduct an investigation, and then we'll find out the results. So it is what it is. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and move along. And I'm not going to go to commercial break right now. So we're going to talk about Boston sports teams being accused of cheating. So right now, you got 2 Boston sports teams that are accused of cheating, the Patriots and the Red Sox. So here's the problem. Why are they accused of cheating? This is my take. And shout out to Marcus Anthony for joining in, Cravante Hurd, Marcus Carter, and Miss Crystal Presley. Thank you guys for watching it on show. So, but let me say this, okay? The truth is, the Patriots have been winning for so long that it's like, how are they not cheating? You know, that's just what it is. That's why it's like some people would say, you ain't winning if you ain't cheating. I don't know, you know, or vice versa. You know, I don't know what the saying is. But the truth is this. If you ain't cheating, then you ain't trying. In my opinion is this. With Spygate for New England, that was a conviction it was put out there that, you know, that they cheated. They was stealing jet signal calls. Bill Belichick admitted to it. The Colts takes a $500,000 hit. The Patriots get $250,000 as a fine from the team. And then also they lose a couple draft picks. Okay, that's cute. They still had a first round pick anyway. The Patriots can kind of care less because they knew they know they have a good coach. But here's the situation. Deflategate rolls around. I thought that was probably the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life because it seems like the Colts, they're a bunch of crybabies. They're gonna cry when they just can't beat New England. This is what it is. And even now, they still can't beat New England. So that's just what it is. But then you're going to say that the quarterback had deflated footballs. And then, because of the CBA, because this is what people got to understand about the NFL CBA, this is why this has got to change when 2020 rolls around. So, the CBA allows Roger Goodell to be judge, jury, and executioner. So as long as you bring an allegation that is serious enough that you give just a tiny bit of evidence, which we all know the NFL's got the lowest burden of proof in the world to prove something. I mean, you see the case that's going on with Ezekiel Elliott. You can say, yeah, I believe they cheated. I even think they went that far. No, they didn't. You didn't have any direct evidence to say definitively that New England had cheated, but you fined $1 million anyway and a draft choice. That's cute. Congratulations. You could say that you actually did, you did something for them. And then this situation with the Red Sox, the New York Yankees. It seems like these New York teams have a problem with Boston when they start winning. If you don't if you can't beat us, get over it, get better, and stop making excuses. Come out and win. Play like a man. But, that's what happens when your team is a bunch of bums. Because the Red Sox right now, we're on top of the division. And it looks like they might end up, there's a good chance that they can make a nice little good run in the playoffs. For baseball. It is what it is. I don't know what anybody can say, but I believe that the Boston sports teams, they keep getting accused because either they're bending the rules a little bit to their advantage or they're just flat out good winners. I mean, most Boston sports teams are. I mean, look at the Celtics. The Celtics been winning for quite some time. The Patriots, they started winning big time, in the early 2000s up until now, and we're still slated to win the Super Bowl again this year. And what people got to understand is this about New England. New England has been in one Super Bowl every decade for the past four, starting in the 80s. So in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and the 10s, we have been in the Super Bowl. 1980s, we lost to the 85 Bears. Then we lost to the 96 Packers, and then in 2000, we beat the Rams. 2001, we beat the Rams. 2003, we beat the Panthers. And in 2004, yes, we beat Philly. And I will keep putting it in Philly's face because I'm sick and tired of y'all Philly fans keep coming for New England just because of the fact that you can't beat them. Get over it. You lost. Tell Donovan McNabb not to throw up during the game. And then, of course, in 2007, we lose to the Giants. Then next year, 2011, we lose to the Giants again. 2014, we beat the Seahawks. And then in 2016, we beat the Falcons. It is what it is. Boston sports teams is great. And anybody who's from Boston knows there's a reason why we are the city of champions. Because literally every team we got rings. Actually, so many rings to a point where I think every sports team filled up one hand. Actually, I got 4, 5. Oh, yeah, New England, we got 5. Bruins, we got 8. The Red Sox, oh, yeah, we got 8 as well. And then the Celtics, we got 17. I got both hands, 1 foot, and 2 toes of rings. Can't get mad at that. Just saying. I think that's probably the reason why. Because we're just winners. But, Boston sports teams, I think that's the reason why. But I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'm going to talk about the NFL secondaries and what I think is the best secondary. Don't go anywhere on the No BS show.
Hey, Tim, having a little fun at the casino? Nice stack of chips.
Yeah, it's my earnings for the last 6 months. I'm putting it all down on the roulette wheel.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Nah, crazy is putting my money in a bank where interest rates are so low, I'll be 100 before I see a decent return.
Well,
Crazy is putting all my money in risky stocks and bonds.
your odds would be better if you call Forecast Financial Group.
If you have capital, you'd probably like your money to work for you. What if you could earn at least 6% annually and have your principal returned in full at the end of a short 12-month cycle? The interest is paid monthly. Your yield isn't affected by fluctuations in markets, and you never pay fees or commissions. Call Forecast Financial Group at 1-800-678-2045 to learn about adding these safer short-term options to your portfolio. Call now, 1-800-678-2045. That's 1-800-678-2045. Forecast Financial Group, 1-800-678-2045.
And I'm back, y'all. Let's talk about this. NFL secondaries. So, shout out to Cavante Hurd, because him and I was having this conversation about the NFL secondaries the other day, actually. I mean, as you can see from that picture right there, you got Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor. But I think that there are a lot more talented secondaries out there that a lot of people are just not paying attention to, because I think these secondaries this year, some of them are so talented that I'm actually afraid of what they're going to do. So I'm going to jump right into it. So let's take a look at all these 32 teams. So my top 5 secondaries, my top 5. I'm going to start with number 5. Okay. Number 5 that I've just got to go with, honestly, is the New York Giants. They didn't look too good on that Sunday night game. That was Dallas. Eli likes to, Eli's Eli. Okay. Here's the situation. The Giants secondary, Eli Apple, Landon Collins, they got some pretty deep guys in that secondary. And because of that secondary, that team has the potential to do some serious damage in the NFC East. Now, they only lost to Dallas because, unfortunately, they couldn't stop Zeke. Zeke kind of ran rampant, and I'm kind of surprised. But, I mean, that defense was gassed because, I mean, the offense wasn't putting up no points. I mean, the fact that you lost 19-3, I mean, what do you expect them to do? Like, and it's just a very, sad situation. So, Eli didn't do anything to help him. He threw 220 yards and 1 pick. It was very obvious that they needed OBJ. Now Dak Prescott threw a touchdown pass. That was cute. Threw it to Jason Witten. Zeke had 24 carries, 104 yards. But, one thing I will give to that secondary for the Giants, they held Dak under 300 yards. Under 300 yards passing. That was good. Considering, and the fact is you held them to 19 points. Most teams that played Dallas last year usually gave up 30. So, hats off to the Giants defense. They played extremely well, especially the secondary. They was locking things down, but unfortunately it didn't show. Because unfortunately Eli, he likes to throw picks, so there's nothing you can do about that. My number 4 secondary, I've got to talk about these boys. A lot of people not paying attention to him because the Steelers' defense is just interesting, but I like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense, you got Sean Davis and you got JoJo there, Joe Hayden from Friendly Heights. Now, everybody got to understand, Joe Hayden went to Friendly High School right here in Maryland. Friendly High School is graduated this kid. And now that kid is balling in the league. Joe is a good corner, and the Browns are going to miss him. And for the Steelers, they just got to steal. And I don't think y'all realize how much of a steal that was, because now what's going to happen is, is it Baltimore? That's going to be a game to see. I can't wait for that one. But the Browns ain't going to throw on nobody. And the Bengals, we saw what happened. So I think that's a pretty solid secondary, and I think that those boys are going to be balling as well. My number 3 secondary, hands down, has got to be Denver. I got to throw Denver in there because Denver, Bradley Roby, Akeem Talib, and Chris Harris. Great guys. All of them can strap, and they can all start on different teams. Do I feel bad for them? Yes, because Wade Phillips is no longer their defensive coordinator. He's now the defensive coordinator for the Rams. And you saw what the Rams defense did to the poor Colts. So that's just what it is. But I believe the Broncos are going to be pretty good. Do I think they're going to be better than the Cowboys on Sunday? Probably not, but don't expect for big passes to come on Denver on Sunday. So that's just what it is. My number 2, I've got to go with my squad, New England. Stephon Gilmore, Malcolm Butler. Not to mention you got to add Devin McCourty and Patrick Chung. Devin McCourty is one of the best free safeties in the league. I think he's definitely, no doubt, top 5. Not top 3, because I'm not going to put him up there in the top 3. Because the guys I got before him is Clinton Dix, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, and Eric Berry before Eric Berry got hurt in the game against New England. So I think that those guys is pretty solid. Now, Gilmore got burnt badly in that game against the Chiefs by Tyreek Hill. But what people got to understand is that was a zone play. See, the thing about football is it's based on whatever the defense is playing and what's given to them. So when you look at this game, right, when you look at the game that New England played, they played too much zone. It got to a point where you could clearly tell they were playing zone, because when I saw Gilmore let Hill get behind him, I'm like, was that supposed to be his man? I'm like, I don't think they're playing man-to-man. And I look back, and it was clearly a zone, zone coverage. So whoever runs into your zone now, to understand what zone is, ladies and gentlemen, if you play football before, or if you don't, or if you just watch the game. So when it comes to the secondary, the way things work is your coaches tell you when you play man-to-man, that means you stick one man and you run with him for the game, or you run with him up for a part of the game. When you play zone, which is a zone coverage, that means you drive back into a zone, and whoever enters your zone, you have to cover that guy when they come into your zone. Now, I don't know what the coverage was, but it was very obvious. It was a cover 3, maybe a cover 4 in that particular zone, which means that Gilmore has to drop back. But then it showed that obviously that was not the best play to pick. Matt Patricia, I'm trying to figure out why did you do that, but that's just me. So, and my number 1 secondary right now, I got to go with them boys right up there in Seattle. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, they still balling at a high level. And they're all young. 28 years old apiece, and Earl Thomas is 27. So, I'm sorry, I believe he's 28 as well. They got a young secondary, and these guys are still balling and still playing at a high level. I think they're the best. I think they are the best secondary right now, because nobody wants to throw on them. I mean, I don't want to get hit by no 6'3", 233-pound safety who runs like a 4.5. I'm not trying to get punished by some 6'3", 200-pound cornerback who can not only tackle in the backfield, but he can cover you and frustrate you like any other good corner in the league. And then Earl Thomas, I mean, he only gets close to getting a pick every game. It's like almost utterly ridiculous the amount of stuff that Earl Thomas does every game. Love it. But that's the situation with that. And so we'll see what happens, in the next game. Coming up in the games, folks, so you got the Patriots and Saints. Now, for any of you Saints fans, I'm sorry, the Patriots don't want to go go 0-2. So trust me, this will be, and if they lose this game, it'll be the first 0-2 start since that 2003 season. And then you've got the Bills and Panthers, Cardinals, Colts. Let's see, Browns, Ravens. Ravens fans, don't worry, you're probably gonna win that one, because let's be real, the Browns don't have a chance and could win that game. Now, DeShone Kizer did show me something in that game, so don't be too surprised. Steelers and Vikings, I think that's going to be a really good one. Vikings defense came to play. Sam Bradford put up some big numbers in that last game, although there is some concerns about his knee. He's got a little swelling in the knee, and he's also a little ginger there, so we're going to see what happens for any of you Vikings fans who are watching right now. Bears fans, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to win. Don't even bother because you're going to play the Buccaneers. And those boys are a little... They had an early bye due to the hurricane. So the Buccaneers are going to be ready to play. Dolphins fans, you're playing the Chargers. Highly doubt you're going to lose. Highly doubt you're going to lose that one. So I'm pretty sure you guys are going to win that one. You guys will be fresh. Jets fans and Raiders fans. Raiders, you're probably going to win. Don't be surprised. That's just what it is. So those are the games I think you guys should pay attention to. But right now, I'm going to have to move along in the interest of time. And we're going to talk about the NFL blackout and its impact. I think what people got to understand about the NFL the hashtag blackout NFL is you now saw the ratings dropped for the NFL. I mean, those numbers was very, very huge. I think what people got to understand is by Colin Kaepernick not being signed, because he wasn't signed, people are not happy with the fact that he has not played. He's not played. He still doesn't have a job. It mind boggles me how this man, after all this time, he still doesn't have a job. It's not fair. And you can't say that, it's not about, his stance or whatever have you. But you got to understand that there is no reason why this man should not have a job. And fans are not going to take this kind of injustice to him. And unfortunately, fans are going to continue to boycott. And, and just recently I just saw a post the other day about a fan who was being heckled because he wore a Kaepernick jersey, and asked the gentleman, are you taking a stance? Well, of course he's taking a stance if he's wearing the jersey, because he's wearing a Kaepernick jersey. What do you expect him to do? And right now, the No Kaepernick, No NFL petition had actually gained over 175,000 signatures on change.org. So this is a movement to get him a job, and it's not fair to him. And what people got to understand is the NFL is 68% African American. Okay, you got to understand. A lot of the viewers, are African American. There are a lot of African American viewers. And what you got to understand is this. These are the kinds of things that you cannot allow to happen in the NFL. You're basically telling these guys they cannot exercise their rights that are given to them under the United States Constitution. Because last time I checked, I didn't know the NFL can infringe upon your rights. I didn't know that they could do that. I mean, I just want to know. If somebody, please call in at 301-429-9247 and let's talk about this. But it doesn't make sense to me that he doesn't have a job just because he took a stance. Like, seriously, that's not fair. I don't think it's right. And I believe that Cap deserves to have a job. There's too many. I was like, you're going to get Jay Cutler a job before Colin Kaepernick. And then Brian Hoyer. This bum just started for the 49ers. You saw what happened to him on Sunday. Brian Hoyer? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Brian Hoyer? He hasn't been nice since Michigan State. He's done nothing. He's a bum. It's just unprecedented that Brian Hoyer has a job before Colin Kaepernick. Shout out to Royal Hector Sr. for joining in on the conversation. The number is 301-429-9247 if you want to call in, my friend. But the truth is this. Kaepernick should have had a job. Everybody could say it's about his football acumen, his football. No, I don't want to hear that because the dude is talented. Yes, he's 28-30. I'll be the first to tell you he's got a losing record. But the dude is definitely talented enough because obviously when he's under Jim Harbaugh, he clearly was doing something good. But as soon as he get with Chip Kelly, for a coach that wasn't even behind him whatsoever, all of a sudden, he's not that great of a quarterback no more. And no one believed in him. And his teammates took a stance with him. And you can't sit here and tell me that it ain't about his stance, because it is. He's being boycotted. He's being blacklisted. And so I look at it like this. If you're going to blacklist him, then we're going to black out the NFL. I'm going to have to move right along, folks, because in the interest of time, I'm going to, it's going to be a little interesting. If you want to call in about the last topic, please call in at 301-429-9247. It's about the NFL blackout. But right now, I'm going to end this with talking about NASCAR. Richmond. For any of you NASCAR fans out there, like, I think you guys got to understand that NASCAR is starting to pick up. I mean, we're starting to get a little bit more diversity in NASCAR, especially for African-American drivers and Spanish drivers, because Bubba Wallace, he's starting to make some noise. I love Bubba Wallace. Good driver. Raced in the Xfinity Series and then raced in the Monster Energy Series. Now, people got to understand something, okay? You know, Richmond was the last race, okay? Richmond was one of the last races, and it was really, really interesting. The truth is this, right? If we have a repeat of what we did last year, because I saw this and I just thought it was quite interesting to me. Last year we saw Denny Hamlin become the champ, right? Denny Hamlin became the champ. That was cute. Okay. Denny Hamlin this year, it seemed like to me that Denny is back at it again. Okay. So, and that's not good for the that's not good for NASCAR right now. Okay? Cuz Denny just likes to go to work. Denny was in the top 5 this year. In the last race, he finished on number 5. But Kyle Larson, he's been on the come up. I mean, this kid he's an excellent racer, knows how to get inside the track. And shout out to him for his win on last weekend. He started in 4th place. Led 53 laps. He got some pretty good points. He got 54 points off of this race, and he got some 33 playoff points. So that's actually pretty good for him, considering the starting position. There was 404 laps out of this race, so he led, just a little bit under a fifth of the race. So that's actually pretty good for Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin didn't lead any laps, but his starting position was number 2. Surprised that he dropped the number 5, but at the end of the day, you finished at number 5. But this is going to be a very interesting race because of the fact that, this season is going to be different. We got to see a little bit of Bubba Wallace, a.k.a. also known as Darrell Wallace Jr., the only African-American driver in racing right now, who came in the Monster Energy Series, did one race, did pretty decent, wasn't the greatest, but he did some pretty good damage. But I think what people gotta understand is this: the Xfinity Series and the Monster Energy Series, they're both very interesting, and what people gotta understand is it's not the same. They're two totally different classes, and everybody could say, it's not that much different. No, trust me, it is, because the competition is different. And so, this is a time for people to understand. And I wrote an article about this. If you're African American and you want to get into auto racing, I would suggest you do it because the NASCAR is looking for these kinds of drivers. They're looking for these kinds of drivers, and they would love to see, these guys get into it. So, but I thought it was pretty interesting that Kyle Larson won. But I'm not surprised because he's been a good racer for quite some time. But right now, folks, I'm going to end this with this. NASCAR is a really good sport. I think that everybody needs to really look at motorsports. Motorsports is actually a pretty good sport to be in. And what people got to understand about NASCAR is, on TV, I know it's a little boring, but if you're there at the race, nothing like it. And I think that, we need to see, I want to see more African-American drivers. I want to see more African-American journalists in NASCAR. So I would love to see that. And so you guys, if you guys want to hit me up about it, you guys know where to find me. But this is it for the show, folks. I thank you guys for watching. Love all of you who watched the show today. Go ahead and join our Facebook group of fans, the No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show fan group. Go ahead and find us on Facebook. Find me on Blogger, No BS, No Holds Barred.blogspot.com. You can follow me on Twitter at insane_Shane29 underground SV29. Follow me on Instagram at shiz_29, and then you can find me on undergroundsportsllc.blogspot.com, and then find me on Facebook as Shane Hector. Next week, y'all, I'm gonna be interviewing Marco Johnson, my boy who trained me in a short film, and I can tell you guys he whipped me into shape. But I can't wait to bring him in next week. Fighter, world champion, actor, and I can't wait for you guys to tune in next week. So I want you guys to really be ready for this. Love all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Peace!